Is there any advice that you give to software development professionals who are looking to excel in their career?
Yes. Given that I've also grown up through the ranks of software development myself, um, I speak not just in terms of theory, but I speak in terms of what practicality meant for me, for my own path. And one of the key things, I mean, obviously, you've got to know what you're doing with software, right? So you've got to be able to think logically, break things down into pseudocode, regardless of what language you're working with. You've got to be able to have that structure that you learned from. To me, what the biggest takeaway from computer science is seeing the world in abstract logic and being able to kind of put everything in this logical framework. So having a solid foundation, not just that you're great, you know this language, or Python, PHP, but being able to have this strong foundation and passion for logic behind it, because at the end of the day, you're going to be writing solutions to problems. You're going to be building things that communicate to machines, and it has to be done in the most effective way possible. Then we take it from that perspective, is that ensuring that you broaden your skill set as a software development, so you don't just look at your task, but you look behind or beyond the task. So I'm going to say this, for example, let's say you're working for a company that doesn't have this connection between development and strategy. If the strategy is not portrayed to you explicitly, or the leader's not basically showing you this on a day-to-day basis, try to think yourself of, why am I doing this? Ask yourself, how important is this task, right? If a priority changes, why did this priority change? Instead of getting frustrated with things that have changed, because there's a reason why companies shift directions all the time. Obviously, there's priorities that change because of customer demand, different market dynamics, etc. So try to kind of keep that open mind, saying, why did this change? How can I understand my task a little bit better and bigger? Then the more you expand your mindset about the work you're doing, the more you're actually growing yourself to be able to take on more understanding, and obviously you're upgrading yourself in your own career path. Now, this is one important point, right? Is the kind of like taking the wider angle. But another point that is important, aside from the actual skill set and tech work, is your attitude overall and communication. And I think these kind of, when I say attitude encompasses quite a bit of stuff for me. So attitude is your attitude to your work, to others, to dealing with changes, a change of direction, various challenges, working with others. You could be working with difficult people, not difficult people. How would you go about this, right? Are you a solution finder, or just a problem declarer? We have a problem. So that's sort of the attitude. And most successful developers I've seen in my career, and I've had the pleasure of working with, they're kind of like a developer that's a one-man show. This developer, you can give him saying, listen, our company decided to do this, and we're going to be a little bit strapped for time for this, and I don't have all the analysis on this, and such and such challenges. And these guys, you're like, okay, wait a minute, that's great, I'm going to go with this. And then they'll kind of wear an analyst hat, a product hat, and a developer hat to come up with a solution. It will not be 100% right. It will need your kind of part to complement it. But these guys have gone above and beyond and taken the attitude of saying, okay, that's fine, it's a challenge, I'm going to actually give this a good shot, versus saying, well, I can't do this. So the can-do attitude versus the can't-do attitude is important. Your communication has to be refined constantly. I mean, consider communication as a muscle. Your written communication, your verbal communication, constantly work on that. You'll never reach a level where you think I have perfect communication, because once you think you're perfect communication within a team, if you work with a different team, you've got a different dynamic. So keep working on that, keep being aware of these things, and that will help you continue to progress and refine yourself as a software developer. And trust me, if you've got a software developer that can communicate well, open to challenges, has a great attitude, and a good coder, magic happens at that point. And I was reading an article recently about how some of the product teams in Facebook is a giant in terms of what they've done, not just for the social engine, but Facebook has contributed significantly to the technology stack of the world, like with React. They've addressed insurmountable problems in technology. When you see an insight of how they solve problems and how they run their work, they rely on these kind of types of developers that will be or trusted to be able to solve complex problems, because they they can think for themselves. They can actually have a great attitude about solving the problem, communicate well, and they're good coders. So that's my sort of sum up advice on this one.
Thank you very much. I'm sure the people that are watching this obviously take a lot of the things that you've mentioned, and you coming and climbing that ladder of sort of reaching the leadership from the software development background itself is obviously quite interesting to see. But listen, Mo, thank you very much for taking the time to do this. I genuinely think that this is going to add a lot of value to people. And I hope we can do this again one more time.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you for having me, Russ. I truly enjoyed this.